Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. Work time, only a bit. I'm going to do a bit at a time, as I said, until it's all done. This is mounting up some keikis, and there's a bit of an emergency involved, and then dividing an oncidium into generic type, which in fact is Shelob Marie. It's taken 2 leads, and each lead now needs separating off, the old part of the plant removed and potting up as the new growths are just getting going. So this is the new view. Instead of having the camera off to the side, I decided to do this for a couple of bonsai videos, and it seems to work well. So basically this is the over the shoulder look. The camera's actually behind me and raised up quite high. So when I'm working here, hopefully I'm not in the way. This is my theory, what I have. But what I will do is move along a bit. Some of this stuff out of the way. We don't need that anymore. And just get all our bits over here, and then the tray can come along here. And I'll be working here, and you can see from the camera view that you should be able to see everything that's going on. That is the theory. We will do the pot first. Now don't panic about that. It was a burn, therefore a blister, and it came off and it's a bit sore and it's open. So we don't want all the dirt getting in it. So that's the idea of putting a plaster on it. They are supposed to be waterproof, but I don't intend getting my hands in water, so that bit's unnecessary. So this has been in here quite a while. And as you can see, we've got a front section here with new growths, and then we've got another section over here with new growths just starting. So this is a reasonable time to repot. Now the roots on this were okay once, they're not so good now, and the older bulbs have shriveled quite badly. So first thing I'm going to do, I've got my cutting tools in alcohol, rubbing alcohol, simply because I know I've got 2 plants on the go. So what we will do is we will cut this new growth off. So that's the new growth, that's the new growth, that's the back bulb, and we'll keep that one. So we'll come off there. We'll see if we can drag some roots out with us. Ah, not too bad. It's not a big root system, it's enough to hold it in the pot, which is all that's required at this stage of the game, because we've got new roots starting. That's the important bit. So we'll take some of these sheaths off so that any new roots that come out from the base of the pseudo bulbs can get straight into media and not be hindered. Oh, some of these sheaths are really tough. Get that one off as well. Right, so that'll do for that. And we do this one as well. Again, the base of that new growth is where the roots will come from, and we may get a new growth this side. In addition to that, when you repot something, the media has a tendency to stay quite wet for a while because the roots are not functioning as well as they perhaps once did. And as a consequence, if you leave the sheaths on, they soak up water and they can actually start rot. So we've got a new growth here, potential one there, new roots here, new growth here, no new roots yet, but they will come soon. So that's one piece. Back to one side, and then we've got to do exactly the same with this one. We've got a new growth here, and a back bulb. And all these are old shriveled leafless bulbs. They're not worth keeping, so we'll just take that one off there as well. And then again, hopefully we will drag some roots out. Yep. Now these are old tired roots, but they're probably still functional. They probably still managed to get some hydration into the plant, even though they don't look nice and white and healthy with growing tips. They probably still work, but not fully functional. They're not, you know, not like nice new roots with growing tips, which is what we want. It's those new roots that will get the plant going. So again, I'm going to have to go a bit careful here with this new growth. See the embryo, new roots just starting at the base of the growth. That's what you want. That's what needs to get going. Oh, that's tough. Gotcha. Oh. Right, that'll do. Just need to get that bit off. So there we go. A bit shriveled, not very healthy, but these bulbs could plump up. I doubt if they will, but they're still capable of holding some moisture and nutrients. But the idea is to grow nice, strong, new plump bulbs with good roots hanging off. That's what we're after. So we'll pop those in there for now. Probably won't need that anymore. Right, so that's that done. That is most of the mess. Now the next bit is this. I noticed this was some keikis I potted up. These are rescues basically, and this is a Dendrobium species. It's signatum, and when I watered this morning I noticed that cane's really wobbly. Now it's got a lot of weight on the end of it, and then I looked again. It's completely rotten. So the base of this cane is useless. It's gone. So what we're going to do is cut it off. That's our start point, and I'm going to mount that cane like that with these roots already attached. Now that keiki will grow on. This one may produce a new growth out the side, but it's lost its growing tip, but I can see the base of what looks like another one coming, so I'm just going to mount it like that. So that's going to go on the mount. I'm now going to have a look and see if any of these other keikis are worth keeping. No, I'm going to do the same with that one. I'm just going to mount the keiki. That will not grow very quickly because it hasn't got proper open leaves and not much of a root system. But we'll give it a go. And what's left in that pot's not worth bothering with, so we won't. So we've got a couple of things to go on a mount. I've got my moss in soak, so that's ready to go. I've got some wire to mount it. I'm going to put that back in there. Got some cinnamon to seal the joints on those keikis. In fact, I'll do that now. I wonder who thought of doing this. Somebody was obviously looking at the properties of cinnamon and decided that it had very good drying properties, and it will seal that, form a callus and stop any rot getting in the base of that cane. So it's good stuff and it works. And we'll do the same with that one. Just a dab. And when you do use cinnamon, go careful not to get it on the roots, because it will desiccate them. It will suck the moisture straight out of them. And if that point was halfway up the root, chances are the bottom part of the root will die. Right, I will have a clean up. Now, my habit in the past with a case like this, where I've taken the two leads off of a plant, would be to pot them in the same pot. We're not doing that anymore Two reasons. One, it normally means the pot's too big for each individual plant, yeah? And in addition to that, the Orchid Society are hoping to start up a sort of swap shop system where people take in surplus plants and hand them on to other people. Some will want to sell them, some will just give them away. So I'm going back to putting things in smaller pots where the roots can get going, and they seem to do better in smaller pots. And multiple pots when I split a plant rather than put them in one pot. Chances are this is a lot of plant. That would have to be quite a big pot to get all that in, and it's far too big for the amount of roots that I've got. So smaller pots. So we'll have a clear up, and then we'll get things sorted out. I'll be back. Okay, we'll get the mount done first. I've zoomed the camera in a bit, so we are in quite close. Probably means my hands will get in the way, but I'm doing my best to film it so that you can see what's going on. So I'll just get them out of the way so I can get my moss up here. Two ways to mount on a piece of bark. You can, now I'm going to get my plaster all wet, aren't I? See if I can keep my hand out of the water, or the worst of it. You can put the roots directly onto the mount if you choose to do so, or you can put a layer of moss down for the roots to sit on and then put the roots on top of that. You can leave the roots uncovered, you can cover them with some moss. So you've got all of those choices, 4 choices really. What I'm choosing to do is put some moss on the bark. I will then sit that cane on the moss. These really long roots will just have to hang, but as I water and the water runs down, they should get hydrated. So we do that, and then I'm going to put a bit of moss on the top. It probably won't stay there, it'll probably fall off, but we'll give it a go. You can always add some more in a minute. But I would like the roots to be in some moss if possible. So we will put some on, and then I'm going to get the wire the keikis in place, and I've got another one here. Missed that one. Tuck that one in there. So we've got 3 canes here with the possibility of them all growing. And if they do so, new growth should come relatively soon. Coming into the growing season now. Day lengths are nice and long compared with what they were. So what we do now is we get a nice long piece of wire. This is very thin wire. It's got no strength in it. It's actually bonsai wire, but for bonsai it wouldn't be very good because you're looking at trees, and this is just incredibly thin. Where's my cutters gone? Down here. So get a nice long piece. I would rather waste a bit than run out, so I'll trim that off. Recover it from the floor. Always does that. Right, now what I do is I start by bending a piece round the back of the mount, and I bend that quite hard. It will now stay there. The moss won't, but the wire will. As I said, we can always add some more. So from there I've got an anchor point. I come round quite firm. Don't have to worry about the wire slipping, not yet. Then we go under that leaf, over the base of that cane, keiki, and the next one. And then we'll come round again. This time we'll go round the back of that keiki because it's already held at the base, and we'll go round that one where those roots are, making sure we've got some moss tucked under where the wire's now going to be. Gotcha. Right, so that's got that one, and that one. They're all secure first time round. But what I will do, as I've got some spare, is come round and go round once more, low down, with a bit more moss around these long dangly roots. And just get another piece of a length of wire to just hold that moss in place. And then with everything secure, we can come round the back and find our original end where we started and twist these two together. And then you can use a pair of pliers if you like and start pulling this tight. Just twist. If you're using thin wire like I am, don't do too much twisting or it will just snap. You're only trying to hold a keiki onto a piece of bark. And then tuck that down there out of the way, push that in, and there we go. That's everything nice and secure. I'm just tidying the moss. I don't want the moss over the top of the cane if I can help it. I want it over the roots. And we've got a bare bit of root there. That doesn't matter simply because a lot of the roots are covered. Base of the keiki there just showing, base showing, base showing. So none of it all covered in moss. Could stay a little bit too wet if that happened. And I don't need to water it, the moss was wet. I do have a label, and what I will do with that is, because I haven't got a spare piece of wire, I will just thread it through. So we go under, over type thing, and it should just pinch on there. And then just put the hole onto that end of that bit like that. Come on, behave. So I'm just trying to get that loose end of wire to go up through the hole, but they're not lining up very nicely at the moment. Not playing ball at all, are you? Gotcha. And then I can just bend that over and that'll hold it tight. So I've got my label all done, and my new mounting rack is behind me here. I did actually put some more plants up there this morning, but what I need to do now is just make some adjustments here so that we've got room to put this one on. And that can go there. Right, so that's the mount done. Now we can get the moss out of the way. Doesn't matter if there's a bit of moss. That doesn't matter. So get that out of the way. Now the next thing we're going to do is the two plants. I've got two pots. They are slightly large, but because I don't want to mess about with staking unless I absolutely have to, I'm going to pot them quite deep. So although that looks like quite a large pot, I'll probably only put the media up to there, and then the plant will rest against the sides. So I'll go and get some bark and whatever I'm going to use, and I'll be back. Okay, I've zoomed back out again now because we're dealing with much bigger items, so I need to get the camera back a bit. I've got some medium bark here. I'm just going to use that for crocking. So these are both air cone pots. They've got quite large air cones in them. So crocking, just go round there. That'll let some air in the bottom of the pot. One out of the way, and my mix that I've got here is a mix of small bark and perlite. And the reason I'm going for small bark and not medium bark is these plants were obviously not hydrating, despite having what looked like a reasonable root system. The bulbs are quite desiccated, which means to me they weren't getting enough hydration. So I would suggest that the media needs to stay moist more than it was before. So by going to small bark, it will stay moist longer. And adding the perlite in, which holds water, will make it even better. Right, so the goal is to go in quite deep and not have to stake them. So we'll go quite low down like that, and over to the back of the pot so that the new growths here can grow on into the pot. I'm hoping that there's enough root on the plant to actually anchor these in their pots. I'm only pressing around the edge, I'm not... That's not bad. Slightly wobbly, but not bad. And then we just top that up so that the base of the new growth is in contact with the media. So there we go, that's one done. I shall water that in well. Do you know, that is going to need a stake, it's far too wobbly. Let's see if we can find something suitable. Something like that. Which hasn't got a point on. So we will make one. Like that. Now, I don't want to stake the whole plant, I just want to stake one part of it firmly. So I'm going to put that down there, like that. And then in my bag of tricks down here, we should be able to find a grabby clip and grab the top of that pseudo bulb like that. Still a bit wobbly. Well, that's all it's going to get. So that's one done. And then hopefully our new growths will push on and fill the pot. That's the idea. I just want to get that out of the way while we do the other one. I don't think I'm going to have enough media. We shall see. So we've got more new growths on this one than on the other one, but it's the same process. A bit of media in the bottom, and fill up all around the roots, and slightly leaning the plant forward. The reason being, it would be easier for the new growths to sit on the top of the media. And the fact that it's bark, not moss, it will dry very quickly from the top down, but it will give the roots a chance to hydrate before it does so. And hopefully this media will be a bit more suited to something that obviously needs a bit more hydration than what it was getting before. And we did have enough media, just. And hopefully our new roots will get going reasonably quickly. And as soon as the new roots emerge, they will have media to grow into straight away. I'll stick a stake in that one as well, I think. It also, having a stake, in case you knock it when you're watering and, you know, moving things around, it's easy to knock things. And this just gives it a bit of security. There we go, happy with that. So that's our two, where did I put the other one? That's our two, and this is Bratonia Shelob Marie, even though the label said, the person who gave it to me thought it was Shelob Tolkien, and it was in spike, it was in bud, and when it actually opened, I looked at the blooms and thought, that's not Shelob Tolkien, it's something else. And I looked up the names of where Shelob occurred. There are actually quite a few. Tolkien's the most well known, probably the most popular, but there are several other Shelob somethings, and this was Shelob Marie. So we did at least identify it. So anyway, good watering now, give that a good soak. Giving it a good soak over the sink, the reason being there'll be a fair amount of dust in there, both from the perlite and from the small bark, and a good flush will wash most of that out first time round. As the water that comes out first time you flush that through will be dirty, so it's not much good for anything else really, so I always flush them straight down the sink, and then next time I water there'll be hardly any dirt comes out. So there we go, a mount and a split and repot, and this is how things are going to go when I split a plant from now on. They're going to get their own pots so that they've got not so much media to worry about. As I said, if I put both of those in the same pot, the pot would have had to been a lot bigger, and I'd have ended up with a lot more media than I've got now in those two separate pots. I'd like to have gone a size down with these pots, but I didn't have any. So it was either this or tiny little ones, which those remaining roots wouldn't have gone in there. So it had to be this one. So I shall mark down the size that I need and keep my eye out. Didn't realise I was out of that size. Anyway, thanks for dropping by, and I'll see you next time. This work is going to come and go, but it's going to be continuous for the best part of this month and a fair bit of next month. But it won't be every day. There'll still be other things, you know, Sunday chat. There'll be everything in bloom. There'll be other things going on, new blooms opened, as well as the work. But I do have a fair bit of work to get through. So that's some of it done. See you next time. Bye for now.